We welcome everyone for the third day Dhamma discussion. As we are familiar now, so far through the last 2 days, I encourage you to come cordially. If any question on a topic suitable for this time, please come on.
Here's the first question. Okay, we start with the first question. This is behalf of this lady, Olga. She wants to know, she asked from me, but I thought it's better to pass the question to you so that you will give a better answer. She wants to know about the about the flag. About the flag. So that's the question, sir.
So it was something related to the history of Sri Lanka. There was a time in English regime, and there were well-organized printing system and this education system, and both the points are biased to the missionary work. So therefore, indigenous Buddhists were really suppressed, and all the education was towards the missionary education, and the press and the media were completely on the missionary work. So the traditional Sri Lankan, the Buddhists were really suppressed, and they are desperately waiting, government also towards the English. So when this happened, there was kind of a debate at the village level, the priest of the Catholic Church and the priest of the Buddhist. And Catholic priests are with the media, they say that Buddhists are just barbaric and they are believing unwanted things, and instead they wish to make them civilized and take to the belief of the God, so that definitely they will descend to the heaven. Otherwise you are ignorant people and end up with this heaven. So we have so much of compassion like that. But there were some educated Buddhist priests. They also told that is not the case. If it is so, we'll have an open discussion, open stage, debates and all. There have been historical 3 debates, and they were tit to tat. Everyone is fighting each other. Even though Buddhists have no media support as well as the governmental support, they were really retaliating with this thing. And ultimately they end up with this Panaduravada, the historical one debate happened in the Panadura, place called Panadura, and there one particular Sri Lankan Buddhist monk took the helm and attacked the other parties, even though they are backed by the media and the government. And ultimately that message went into the press, telling that though it is barbaric called, the Buddhists have their own base, and the Buddhists have their own sound basis, and they are ethically good, they are civilized, and they are not really fighters, but they are defensive. But even in the argument, they want the cake line. So it went into the media and came to America. And there had been one Steele Olcott, the Colonel Steele Olcott. By reading, he got an inspiration. Even the government and the media and the press and everything going to give this missionary message, the indigenous Buddhist, he was not aware about this everything. And they somehow or other they won the game, so he came to Sri Lanka. And coming to Sri Lanka, he went, that particular monk, and discussed about what is happening. He told, we are disadvantageous, and this is a 2,500 years old tradition, and we are the real people preserving it, but all the organized civilization, the press, the government, everybody is doing the maximum. So then still Olcott, he got some lady from Russia, Blavatsky, and they put up a Theosophical Society. And they wanted to give a fair chance for the Sri Lankan Buddhist. And there he did few things. One thing is formal Buddhist schools. Second thing is Theosophical Society, so that everyone can come under the same umbrella organization and do something. And he wanted to take every Buddhist under the one flag. So he designed this flag. And then this message It was, as far as the Buddhism, as far as the history of Sri Lanka is concerned, historical, went to the Burma, went to Thailand and everywhere, and they follow the suit. And they agreed and approved this flag. So now it has become a symbol of Theravada Buddhism. And then only the Sri Lankan Buddhism changed into the Protestant Buddhism. In the Protestant process, how do you call that thing? Protestants.
Okay.
That is how it goes. There had been some evolutionary change. Before Protestant Buddhism, they were just preservative, not fighting, and they were just doing their own business. Since this threat came from the foreign, well organized, and it is gradual, they have to get organized. So earlier, Buddhism was under the patronage of the king. By that time our kingdom was very weak and it is confined to only the central part of Sri Lanka. But coastal area were really under the commercial companies, either by Dutch, Austria, or English or Portuguese. And they were controlling the whole the ports. Transporting way was only the ship. And the Sri Lankan Buddhist traditional were confined to the middle part of the whale country, and there were no connection to the foreign countries. So ultimately they have to depend on this foreign kind of thing. And then Steel Orchid created this. And then those Buddhists were at the coastal area. They were well-to-do, they were business people. They started the press. And then started the campaign arousing the whole Buddhists, telling we have to get together, otherwise we will be erased off and it will be the end of the Buddhism life. So this Protestant Buddhism came in. And there are one of the Sri Lankan person called Dharmapala, Anagartha Dharmapala. He took the helm and he started writing like anything. And then attacked the missionary, telling it is nothing in essence. This is just a commercialized religion. It is a missionary. When compared to Buddhism, it is nothing like he started. And he went into the Indian soils and claimed our heritage lands where the Buddha born and everywhere. And he was the first person went against the law in Indian law and won the game against the Indians. And the Buddha were rescued and the other places. It happened something coinciding with the independence of Sri Lanka. So it was a real upheaval at the 1948, and then there was 2,500 years after the Buddha's great demise, and that also was Jayanti the ceremony. It's an anniversary. So these events happened closely. 1935 area was really suppressed. 48 we got the independence, and the Buddhist organizations were really Protestant. And in 2000 came at the 1956, and all the organization came into the peak. So this is how this flag came into being.
And she's interested in finding out why these colors run.
So it is usually it says whenever the radiant mind of the Buddha come into the full-fledged, it is radiating all the colors, just like the white color you have. It is an integration of pure. This is something like that. That is the way it is canonically it is explained. Commentarily it is explained. When the Buddha is really in the radiating powers, these colors are emitting from his body, it seems. So Sir Henry Steele Olcott, Colonel Olcott, he got all the colors and arranged in such a way to use it as a flag. Up to the date, today it is been the accepted flag for Theravada Buddhism.
Swaminathan sir, and a little bit about Sir Olcott, because she doesn't know who Olcott is.
She has to know because she is American.
You don't know how she became the Buddhist in Sri Lanka.
That, of course, I also do not know exactly.
How he
it was kind of instinct. he got the idea about unfair, that to suppress the Buddhists in such a way, because he are innocent people, so he came all the way from America to Sri Lanka, and not really convinced him, but he felt at heart. Ultimately he never really gave the message to Sri Lankan monks, but when that Dhamma got up and he started placarding the monks, telling, you are just waiting and idling, you are not giving the real message to the Buddhists, and make them arouse and bring them up like went on. And Henry Steele Olcott was behind the screen, but he was the power. He was the real organizer together with the Blavatsky, and that is how the Theosophical Society came into being. And now the Theosophical Society even functioning in Sri Lanka, and it is and my teacher, Jnanarama, explaining all these things, he says even then no one was concerned about the meditation as such. They were about the Buddhism. Of course, even that was at danger. So after 56 only, the situation came more peaceful, so that Buddhists can think freely, think innovative way, productive way and creative way. Then only we got some relationship with the Burma, Myanmar, and got some mission for the meditation, and slowly out of that good atmosphere, meditation came up. I think for that only we came into this world. We may be waiting in the outside to see the better stage comes. So after 56, we people came into being, and now we are making use the maximum of their good efforts.
I have a question. I just want to find out now, when I am doing Anapanasati breath meditation, my point of focus, concentration for in-breath, is different from out-breath. Is that norm, or is it a sort of variant?
That is quite normal, and if you are really keen, specifically on the point of touch, you can see the variant in the in-breath and out-breath also. And not only that, if you manage to keep track with the in-breath to out-breath, out-breath to in-breath, and like that, when the concentration come into being, when the mindfulness become steadfast, the overall touching point also changes. Usually it says, conventionally we feel at the skin level, epidermis level. When the concentration comes, it goes to the middle of the brain. From the periphery level, it goes inside like. But unless otherwise you are keen to see, you will not notice it. You feel like you are going inwardly, but mindfulness is intact, concentration is there. But if you are really keen, you can see it is going center. You go into the center of the brain, like head. But again, when you disturb and regain concentration, again you have to start at the peripheral and then slowly go in. So there is kind of a, the notion of the place is a convention. It's a kind of a perception. And so you feel in-breath is touching here and out-breath touching here, something like that. When the concentration and the mindfulness become steadfast, your perception loses its features and you come to a place, come to a state where time and space not valid. And there you don't know. You know the mind is stick into a place. You can't explain it related to your body. Sometimes you don't know whether it is external or internal because your boundaries are lost at that time. In and out boundary, you and me boundary, living and non-living boundary, everything goes. When everything goes, the touching point becomes a something point in the sky. But at the beginning you can see related to your body, the left nostril, right nostril, end of the nose or middle of the nose, this kind of thing. But when the concentration comes, all these things become invalid and the point of touch come to a place it is difficult to locate, but it won't create any problem. It is still leading, and you lose the boundaries. Then onward only mind is capable. Mind become qualified to go into the absolute meaning of the life, absolute terms and conditions. Now we are in the conventional terms and conditions, and there the location and the time is very specific for perception to happen. But when you keep on doing you go beyond the perception, and then you can't explain where the mind is located, where the in-breath and out-breath is located. So therefore, don't stop at observing the difference between in-breath and out-breath. See the chronological difference as the time passes, what happened to the touching point. It is also evolving.
After that only you lose the breath.
These things are happening in almost the same. The difference between in-breath and out-breath loses, the touching point you loses, and you can't understand whether it is happening inside the brain or outside. All the things become in a jam, like a fruit salad. Everything go to a salad.
So that time, what should you do? That's my problem too.
That is, you have to be a passive observer. Don't interfere into the situation.
Yeah.
When this unwinding process happens, you have to just, mindfulness is intact, concentration intact.
Yeah.
Don't let the will or intention to come and play fool.
Yeah.
Don't give any chance for any intention, just to be a passive observer. You let the thing happen.
Just observing.
Just observing. So, till that there is a meditator. Then onward there is no meditator. But the meditation happens. So that is how you convince yourself, without your will, without your person, without your soul, things happen. Now we think everything we have to manifest and we have to do monitoring and gearing and steering and all the kind of, that is why all the mess. But Anapana leads you to a certain extent with this will, with this intention, but slowly it loses the power. And after a certain level, it takes complete power, just like autopiloting, and you should not go and fork fingers there. That is the point, you be highest in generosity. You are ready to give up your will, you are ready to give up your ideas, you are ready to give up your likings and dislikes, your body, your soul, your everything. It happened in the gradual basis. So at the beginning, beginners entertain some fear, entertain some uncertainty, entertain some time of lost in nowhere, and lost in the middle of the sea, or lost in the middle of the forest, or lost in a desert or something like that. But since it is not happening overnight, it is happening gradually, you develop kind of adventurous kind of feeling. Okay, never mind, I will go. Next day again you will go and come back. Come to the rationality, go to the irrationality. Rationality, irrationality. And slowly you understand the game of the freedom from the norm. Now get anchored in the norm, that is how we claim. But in the meditation, leave you enough chances, according to your forward trip, from known to unknown. The grey area is the most difficult part, and that happens at 3 stages before you go to the first Magga Phala. 3 times you are being put into unknown, and it is like a test, like a hurdle. You put into unknown and see what is going to happen. If you get excited and all the time again, you will pull back to the known. But more and more you go there, one day you will take a chance and do what will happen if I dash through into this unknown.
It's like a graduation, like from where you are going further up.
Day by day, known to unknown. And the other thing is that from the bondage to the freedom. But even though we are fighting to be right? Be free. When the freedom comes, we feel like lost. We feel like no orientation. We feel like boring. We feel like uncertain. We feel like monotonous.
Yeah, you are quite correct. It's like disoriented, like you don't know where you are, what you are doing, and the time, the place, nothing.
That is the training, that is the real meditation. Till that you do some linear things, formal things, rational things, so that you will get a chance again and again this, this challenge. So after a certain familiarization only, you will take a chance and take the challenge and dash through. And it is happening once in your whole life. Once it is done, you are a different person. You don't care about this, all the norms and all these, perception and the values and all the kind of things. As far as you are living in the world, of course, you must not mess it up. You keep it up. But you know they are just childish kids. When you wish to become a mature, you have to go beyond that. That does not indicate you are too little. You are going to consider inferior. You keep them in due place, but you understand human mind is not limited to that. It can go beyond. In order to go beyond, sacrifice is there. What you are sacrificing is your life and your body. At this grey area, you are being challenged. Do you wish to have your body and the life and sacrifice the absolute, or wish to have the absolute at the cost of body and the life? So this is a kind of a it's a kind of a negotiation.
Now when you do rising and falling, now Anapana, you come to a state like that. When you go on meditating, you need long time. But in rising and falling, is there a stage like that, a situation like that? You realize
disentanglement is the same. You can tell the object as the rising and falling, or left and the right, or in-breath and out-breath. They all belong to the conventions. So if you take one as object and practice thoroughly, master is thoroughly, and then you are given this challenge of losing the whole notions of perceptions and likings and disliking, labeling and kind of thing, and then exactly the same. Whether you come from the Anapanasati or from rising and falling, or even with the right and left of the walking meditation, everything ultimately converges to the same point. And that is not the ultimatum. There are a number of hurdles from periphery to bring back to the center. From all the time, it's a global thing. Whatever the starting point, when you come back to the center, it's the same path. And different people recognizing the different points of the label, globe. So according to the path is the direction-wise different. But in absolute, it's exactly the same. You are coming from periphery to the center.
Thank you.
Sorry, could you please talk a bit about mindfulness and keeping the mind in one place the whole time, and how the mind is kind of like fragmented, and how the mind, when it's just what you said previously about do one thing, do it well. Could you please talk about that?
So that nowadays there's a theory called holography. Holograph means that it's a kind of a diagram. Each and every tiny particle represented the everything. If you take one corner of the hologram, go into that, within that you will get the same tapestry. So the world is built up like that. So if you take one particle and go deep, or if you go outwardly, exactly the same. So in mindfulness, to get the confidence of the yogi, you are being asked to take the most prominent thing, easiest thing, and go deep into that. Whatever you go deep into, explain the universal truth. To get the anchorage, to get the good starting point, you have to pinpoint one phenomenon at a time. And that you have to thorough, you have to master it. if you are taking the in-breath and out-breath, do up to the utmost of the in-breath and out-breath. If you are taking the rising and falling, do the last drop. If you are doing left and the right or whatever may be, at the beginning, for example, when you are working in the lathe machine, first of all you have to fix the iron into the chuck, in the centralizing end, and then only you can cutting start. When the females are doing embroidery in the clothes, first they do is fit into a frame and fix the cloth. Then only you start needling, because now the situation is fixed. And if you wish to polish this glassware, what you have to do is, at the beginning you have to hold the thing unshaken, and with the second hand, the rest of the hand you can brush it. If you keep the thing moving, you can't brush it. So therefore at the beginning you have to get the grip. Take the grip to a point which you know. This is my nose, this is in-breath and out-breath, this is the stiffness, tension, movements of the in-breath and out-breath. Or you may say, this is my belly, and this is rising and falling, this is the stiffness, tension, movement of the rising and falling. This is my right leg, and this is my feeling like. That particular thing you have to fix it, and then go deep into that. When you are going deep into that, it is going to show the reality as such, things as they are. So, at the beginning, even though you are going to go to liberality, at the beginning you have to grip. You have to get hold into that, and through that only you can go to liberation. At the beginning, if you are slack, and if it is moving, you will never get access. So the contrast things are happening. Liberality and the grip. At the beginning the grip is important, and then through that only liberality can happen. And at the beginning you take only one tiny point, and through that you are going to see the whole universe. In order to see the whole universe, if you are going to see all over the universe, you are lost. So these two contrasts are the thing make the Dhamma profound. That is why you feel it is very profound, very complicated. How can I understand that? Because things are happening in these contrasts. So the Buddha, knowing the in and out, he explained the beginner who do not have the principal understanding. He says how to spoon feeding, ABC kind of method, a linear method. When you do, what happens is you take one tiny part and specialize it. Through that you go and see the whole universe. And there had been a film, and recently also there was a email message. The film that I have heard is more dramatic. It says that at the beginning, through the electron microscope, it shows how the electron is rotating around the nucleus, and it says the pattern. And then electron microscope zoom in, and then you can see it is not one molecule. Right round all the molecules have the same pattern. They have the nucleus and rotating electron. And still you zoom out, you can see it is a wing of a bee, a wing of a fly, transparent wing. So you can see that all the atoms and cells now come into forming a wing of a fly. And then when zoom in, you can see the whole fly. And you further you zoom in, it is sitting on the face of a ball. And now you can see the face, and you can see the fly. And then when you are still zooming, you can see the ball is rowing on the boat. And the fly is on here. And then you can see the boat, and you can see the whole lake. And then when you go there, you can see the whole island. And then you can see the whole globe. And when you zoom in further, it is again, you can see the sun and the rotating planet, exactly the same like the nucleus and the rotating electrons. This and this exactly the same. Whether you go deep into that, same model. Or you go to the galaxy, the same model. So our physics is inviting us to go outwardly. Buddha is inviting us to go inwardly. That is the difference. Meditation, what we do is go in. Physics is what we do is go out. And when Fritjof Capra is writing the Tao of Physics, he says we lost. Physics completely lost because there is no way, because it's outwardly no way. And slightly he indicates, if someone go in, there may be an end of the trip. And Buddha, 2500 years ago, he found it, he says, do insight meditation. Look in. And what you're going to see is exactly the galaxy, exactly the solar system, but it is representing just like a tiny molecule. So therefore, if you take breath, or rising and falling, or any kind of thing, if you know this is what I am taking as the primary object, and do honestly and go thoroughly into it, what is the starting point, no matter, the truth is the truth. What you see is the things as they are.
So what's the definition of Sampapalapa?
Sampapalapa means that frivolous words, that means useless thoughts.
So, because I remember last year you were saying about when a person talks, like they have inside chatter. Yeah, for like 10 minutes or so, like after you finish talking. And could you like talk some more, please, about Sampapalapa and how we need to kind of focus more on the meditation and not just much Sampapalapa?
Well, you have to make the point further clear so that I can start talking. What is the point?
About how, as in about the noble silence throughout this whole retreat, so that even though what I'm saying might just seem a little bit taboo right now, just so that we can, like, I just feel very strongly that this, like, I mean, it's a 9-day retreat, and 3 days have already gone. It's only 6 days left, and our time with you is really limited and precious. And the maximum that we can get with you, the point that we can reach with you, is the point that we have to like carry on with throughout the year. So just so that like we can reach that maximum point throughout this week, so that we can kind of maximize it. Because I remember last time, I think you said like all questions about Dhamma and everything to discuss in the discussion period, and just and the whole time to kind of concentrate and no talking, just to kind of just really concentrate. And I was just wondering if you could elaborate.
But simply we have to say that if you are to explore into oneself, you have to stop this external dialogue. External dialogue is completely negative and stop you to an inward journey. But the thing is, you are going to cut out the external journey, many will go mad. Because we have been so accustomed to talk each other, so therefore we must not break it, we must just give a clutch to give a little difference, little distance, and ask everyone to mind your business and maintain as much as noble silence. But we can't do it at once. As you mentioned, we are in the 3rd day, so it's a good time to allow. Tell that stop talking, because talking is always outwardly. It stops the second, it disturbs the second person also. And so best thing is to see that, and I would say the most decent way of telling is listen to your own sounds. Whatever you do, listen to your own sounds. When you are talking also, you can lower down the volume, and so you can just communicate with the other person, and the whole house will be vibrating. And when you are closing the doors and wearing kind of thing, mind your own business. Do the task rather than this. But in our normal civilized way, we are always making rattling noise, So we feel familiar. We feel we are in a group. We are in a security line. So therefore, if there is no sounds, we feel cornered. We feel isolated. So we must give some weight on that also. But everyone has to, consent to maintain the noble silence. Because that is the norm, that is the given thing. We are the people who make noises. And then ultimately we are the people who get disturbed. So therefore to the Mother Nature or Mother Earth, we can't say, please give me the noble silence. It has already given. We are the people making noises, so it is us to maintain the respect of each other. Respect to each other, at least respect to the noble silence. So the Buddha says, if you are talking, talk about Dhamma. Otherwise, observe the noble silence. And it's a right kind of a respect to the Buddha. So when I was living with my teacher, earlier he was under a big rock and there was atmosphere was so damp, so you often get a cough. Well, maybe one doctor recommended to have a house in a flat plateau, so that the air and the good sunlight kind of thing. So I was attending to him. So one day he says, I am 3 years old for my ordination. I am learning. I am a novice. I am a beginner. And he was 88 years old and more than 60 years of seniority. He says that even though this house is built for me, and when I am living here, he lives all alone. I go for 2 hours work of the cleaning the house and everything. So he says, whenever I live here, even though alone, I feel as if a senior monk is living with me, so I must not make noise. Internally he feels that he is living with very high spirit. So if happen him to close the door very in the banging way, he is so sorry because it is disrespect for the higher being living with him. So he asked, do you also feel like that? And of course, yeah, of course, because you are there. So for me, you are the higher being. No, I am not telling that. Even I am alone, I feel. Even if he coughing, and if it is gone beyond his control, ultimately he regret telling it is not the way. I am indecent, making unwanted sounds like. Because I think he has been trained more than 25 years in the rest, in the forest. So he don't feel any abnormal sounds to contribute. I think it is the way we have to also train it. But I am again and again telling some people, they are to so accustomed to talk and talk and talk and talk. If they are going to stop at the time, at once, it will be a shock for their psychology. So therefore we have to sympathize with them, ask them to slow down, not to stop it. So in the last birth retreat also, there were 60 people, and the third day, people start reading books, talking each other. And usually I am not disturbed by it because this is none of my business. You all come with so much of wealth, come with the whole the way around, and this is not a socializing place. This is not something to be have this relationship. This is to understand who am I, what is Dhamma is. And the organizing lady came and told me, but we have to do something because people are talking too much. Then I told, please raise a question in the question and answer session. So then I will give my view. And then she raised the question. Then I told, as a support to you, I can say the disadvantages of the talkings and the noises. And I say, reading books also not helping you to go inwardly. Sometimes books are valuable, it is with Dhamma, but not in the retreat. And the third day onward, many were Westerners, more than 40% male, and next 7 days it went very smoothly. And everyone was happy, and therefore once in a way we have to give this alarm and make again the attention more towards the noble side. And if you wish to maintain the peace of mind, you must understand how to not to get disturbed by these external things, because some of things are under our control, some of things are not. But when I'm working, I would say a more disturbing thing is not the sounds of the nature, it is the voice. It's a human voice is the one irritating. So we are very little sympathetic with that. Bird sounds never disturb us. And the sounds from the waterfalls and kind of thing we can tolerate. But when the human sound comes, then you get worked up. So therefore that we also have kind of a reaction internally also that we have to understand. And we also must talk when the necessity arises, but short to the point. And reduce it, and it is an enormous energy. Now I feel because my throat is now irritated, and there I find I am a person used to do heavy work, but even then I never felt tired. But when I give a talk for sometimes 2-3 hours, then I feel exhausted. There's so much of energy. And you see in the schools, when the teachers, all the other heavy working people has to work 8 hours, but the teachers only 5 hours. And out of 4 months, 1 complete month leave, because they are doing the lip service, talking, so much of energy. And yet another point I would like to make, out of our misdeeds, we can fairly take care about the physical misdeeds, and very little we have the mental, most regret, mostly our remorse coming from verbal misdeeds. Most of the time we have misused the terms and talk something harsh or that kind of thing. So therefore the person who controls it, person who has the mastery, he is a really happy, contented person. If he knows what to talk and how to talk in a short to the point. So therefore it takes a long time for someone to come into the proper balance. So everyone has to tighten their belts. Slowly.
The people who use bad words all the time, they continue to use bad words.
And regret. Even without doing now presently, they regret for the past and regret for the future. Because basically it is the verbal the verbal misdeeds are the thing really undermining our peace of mind.
It's really automatic, like for them.
Yeah. That is the rut, being in this chatter.
So, this is more of a statement, but I really noticed you said last year about how if you can go apart, like the first time in the day that you start talking, the latest that you actually start talking shows just how productive your day is going to be. And I really noticed it. I was kind of observing and kind of comparing and seeing, and I really saw like the difference of like how later you speak and then how much productive the day is if you've spoken much later in the day.
The commentary says that when the monks are living in the same monastery, almost they talk nothing. They try to maintain the whole day silence. For example, if they are going to go the alms rounds, after the morning porridge or something like, they have to go to the village to beg food. And there are a lot of opportunities for them to talk, because lay people wish to have some greetings and all the kind. What they do is, it seems they take a mouthful of water when they are leaving the monastery. And they obviously keep it in the mouth so that anyone knows that he can't talk. So when they go, they are giving some food, he just say thank you in the body language, and next go to the next house and say thank you in the body language, no talk. And on the way back, at the end of the village, there is a,
fence.
There's a fence or something like that, or threshold. And there he put the water, it seems. So any person who passes it can understand how many monks has passed this place. So they are split over there. and that indicates the monk has stopped there. Oh, now we're going to the forest and there is no one to talk. And they maintain, and you develop kind of energy if you keep your mouth shut for 1 or 2 days, so everything replenished. And you don't feel the exhaustion due by just talking. Even the valuable talks or frivolous talk, no matter. And yet another dramatic story that one day they are commentarial stories just to indicate their importance. Now in this year, July 28th, we are entering into the rainy retreat, and 6 months it is meant for silent retreats, meditation. That is the original idea. Nowadays it is not happening up to the rule. So 30 monks have got the permission from the Buddha and gone far away, and there's no Buddhist as such. So they were going, and tomorrow they have to start find a place to dwell for 3 months. And one of the elderly woman, mother of the village headman, see young monks are going. She has, you know what is that? She pay respect and ask, Bhante, where are you all? Then says, we are finding a place to put up with for the 3 months. Then would you mind to live in this close by forest so that I can treat you all? Then if such an invitation happens, it's very nice. Even without that we take the place and dwell there. So ultimately she asked one of the attendants to go there and see the facilities of the monks, and they put up a very modest houses with the 3 walls and the thatch and roof, and 30 monks are living. And this lady was so devoted, cooking food and make the thing with the help of the attendant, everything sent to the forest, and she is running the show at home. And one day she asked that attendant, how was the monks are? They are doing well. And can I go and visit? Then he told, yes. And evening I am taking some tonics. You want to prepare, so why don't you come with me? And that day that lady is so busy in cooking and kind of thing, that day she got relief and went with attendant. And we go there, the places are well swept. And no silence, no sounds, full silence. And then that lady got little upset, uneasy, because no sign of living 30 people. Not a single to see. And then he told, you say that there are 30 monks, but no one to see. Then he said, there's a common place, common room, you go there and gong the bell. Then they will come. And that is what I do. Then they came with that tonic, and they gong the bell. And then different monks come from the different places, not talking each other, they took the seat. And then still that lady was puzzled and pay respect to the chief. And then one day, was there any quarrel about yourself, and why you are not talking each other? And still like the chief monk is not giving any answer. He said that it is strange. For we lay people, when 2 come together, enough for 30. And there's 30 people, complete silence. Then the chief monk told, this is what the advice of the Buddha. Oh, it is nice, Bhante, because I feel respectful if it is so. I thought that you all are fighting each other, that is why not talking. I developed that time. Then the chief monk gave the, then she asked, Bhante, can I also observe that? This vow and not to talk as a sign of respect to the Buddha or respect to the Dhamma or Sangha. Then he told, of course, whoever may be volunteering, we can practice and see how much you can restrain your verbal faculty. And then she asked, beyond that training, what do you all do? They say that we are concentrating on the repulsivity of the body. So therefore we are not developing any desire for kind of thing. We are more observing the repulsivity of the body. They say, what is the meaning of? Because otherwise we have so much of attachment to the body. We have the attachment to our loved and close and near ones. So if you are developing the repulsivity, this only the utility value, no more than that. Therefore life is easier. Then she asked Bhante, can I also take that over and practice it? He said, this is the technique you also can do. So, saying goodbye, she went home. And she started working completely silently and always contemplating about her own repulsivity. The body hair, the head hair, the teeth, this skin and everything, part by part, she said that they are not beautiful unless otherwise put together. If you take one by one, they are repulsive and not so. And ultimately, she developed so much of relinquishment, she achieved a very high status of the meditation. So much so, she can look into the other's mind and read it. So she was so respectful for the monks because they give a simple advice and she was proceeding practicing, and ultimately she came up to that level, that out of respect. He thought if we, the household, the housewives are achieving this kind of a peace in history life, what will be the status of this chief monks going to give the advice? Ultimately, when she was looking completely other way around, not a single monk achieved any state, they are just commoners. And she was so shocked to see, because they are very fluent in giving the advice and their behavior also very good and creating the faith and kind of thing, but they are not achieved what they should, being monks and dwelling in the forest. And then she thought about, when one step behind, what is disturbing them, why you are not achieving. Then they found they are not getting the proper food. So therefore their stomachs giving troubles, health is no good, and there is no way of demanding, and that is why they can't achieve. And of course she is the mother, and she is the person giving the food, and they found different people have different tastes and different dishes, likings. And ultimately, looking at the individual liking and disliking, she prepared the proper dishes for a particular person, and with the help of the attendant she passed it, and within the 3 months all the monks achieved the highest qualities. And the story goes further on, but anyway, there also it indicates when they are practicing, even though they are commoners, when they are practicing, they maintain silence. It's a very good sign. Wherever the Buddha going to other monasteries of the other sects and kind of thing, everyone says, everyone calm down the people, it seems silly. Oh, the Buddha Gautama is coming, he does not like talking. Therefore, please be silent, please be silent. We welcome him. He will not come otherwise, please. Like that they are calming down themselves. So that is the reputation of the Buddha. So when we are practicing, we also have to calm down. You have to count the number of words you are using a day.
Sorry, just a question. I don't know whether it's pertaining to this session or later we should ask this question. This is about Dhammajiva. If you please explain us.
So tonight we will take, and she also has asked specially
She's
about
the one who wants to know that. And she's pushing me.
So you become a mediator.
I don't know.
Forget about
No,
that.
but
And
we both gone. No, he,
so tonight we will
three of
take
us.
in the according to the Satipatthana Sutta, first we have to do the Anapana and then the 4 cardinal postures, and then today we have to deal with the repulsivity of the body, Dhatu Manasikara and other postures. So tonight we will take it. So very first few days we are not fit enough, we are not prepared enough to go to the Dhatu Manasikara. We should have our own experience. Then with that experience only we can go. Otherwise it will be just a theoretical experience.
We thought so. But
So tonight we will...
I have a question, but I have brought it because it's from Salayatana. It's Samyutta Nidanavagga Chetana Sutta. This is something we discussed in the discussion, and came to a point that 2-3 people were not agreeing. So, if I read it, can you explain that?
Can you give a general briefing about the content of the Chetana
I
Sutta?
will read a little, then you will understand. Can you hold this person? Thank you. It says, I am not going to read all, but Yang Kaleka Nositad Nokalpana Kereda Noda Pavatwad. Those are the 3 words. It's that means any time a person who does not think, then Nositad, no Kalpana, rather both saying the same meaning. And the third one is Noda Pavatwad. Me Vinyane Pavatmata Aramuna Nove. Aramuna Netikalhi Vinyane Pihitima Nove. E Vinyane Pihitikalhi Nama Rupe Basaganima Nove. No Pihitikalhi. Basaganima Nove. Nama Rupa Nirodhayan Shadayatana Nirodhe Ve. Dukrase Nirodhe Ve. Vinyana Pihitikalhi Krishnave Krishnava Atikalhi Karmadi Aramune Vinyane Pavatve. Aramune Vinyane Pavatma Atikalhi Priyaha Upatave. Chuti Uppatti Atikalhi Mattehi Jati Jara Marana Suka Parideva Dukka Domana Supayasyo Hatagani. Mese Huduras Rasi Patanganma Ve. Idin Nositad Idin Kalpana Nokereda Ihet Anusenya. Anusaya Naya. That is the point. It's hard to understand. Anusaya Naya. That is the dormant type of defilements. Kereda me vinyane ke pavatmata aramuna ve. Aramuna netkalhi vinyane pihitima ve. E vinyane pihitikalhi vadunu kalhi Krishnava ative. Krishnava atikalhi. This is within parentheses it's written. Karmadi aramunuwala vinyane pavatma agatya. Karma nimiti ho gati nimiti elamba siti kala gatiya pratisandhi vasyen vinyanyage gamanave. Actually, the thing I want to know the first 3 words, how it works.
You can simply commonly say intention, the will.
Yeah.
If you have no intention, if there is no will, there is no consciousness necessary.
Yeah.
Sankhara Vachya Vijnana. Sankhara means the formation. Sankhara means and the formation is led by the will, the intention.
Yeah.
If there is no intention, if there is no will, there is no sankhara. That means you are not manipulating, you are not fabricating it, you are not formulating it, you are not steering it. So that is what for example, if you take the Anapanasati when you are practicing, if the Anapana is ceasing to extend, don't do anything. Just let it go. So as far as you are not contributing by will or intention or to manipulate it or adjust it, no formations. So if there is no formation, you come to a state, you can't remember it. You have no memory. You have no consciousness. So instead our self-ego or self-centric idea is asking to do something, urging us to do something. That means to do some sankhara, do some formation. If you sankhara come, then again the continuity of the formation, the consciousness and everything happens. So therefore, in the meditation, that is why when you are observing the calming down of the breath, it is the meditation jargon, it says the calming down of the body, the materiality. And passing that, you come to the calming down of the verbal sankhara and then mental sankhara. The gross one you start, we can talk and we can communicate, but lead to the vachi sankhara, mano sankhara. Over there, what you have to do is just let the thing happen, don't do anything. As far as you do not do, you are not fertilizing the vijnana, the consciousness.
That means karmic force.
No karmic force.
No karmic.
No sanskara. So, but we feel cornered, we feel isolated, we feel bored, we feel monotonous, we feel helpless. So that is why there's an urge to do something. That means we have no experience of no emotions, so no intentions. We have no experience, no will. So all the time we are poking fingers to the phenomena. So therefore it's a gross feeling is, if you are not manipulating, if you are not steering, there is no karma.
And there will be no consciousness,
no
Vijnana means no birth.
No continuity.
No continuity.
Based on that particular thought moment.
Yeah.
If the next thought moment, if you are going to do something according to the karmic forces happen, so it will lead.
It start again the cycle.
Vicious cycle.
So only one line I will read. This is actually one day regarding the last moment of a...
These are commentaries.
Yeah, commentaries.
So commentators have to make it rational, make it linear, so give the commentary for the most prominent thing. But it is in each and every thought moment, same thing.
So what I want to know at the last dying moment, your faculties are all dull. So at that time, according to this, idin nositada, idin kalpana nokareda, ehe anusene. That means the dormant karmic force is there.
Yeah, that is the continuity, basically straight up. The datum line is continuous. For the moment you are not contributing, but the past, your bank account, your deposits, and that will take care about your identity.
Next birth.
Your identity.
Yeah. This means the anusaya kelis. Anusaya means anusaya kelis.
The latent tendencies, dormant tendencies, that according to the Sigmund Freud's presentation is called the unconscious. You are not conscious about it, but when the unconscious come into being, you are a puppet. You become just a mean for the unconscious to manipulate. And ultimately, without knowing, you take the responsibility. And it is not your intention, it is happened through the unconscious. So, in Sinhala we call Yakihita. But of course, it is not directly, exactly parallel with the Buddhist teaching. It says that dormant tendencies working in a perverted manner, not direct way. So therefore, the particular person who possesses these dormant tendencies do not know his possessions, his likings and disliking lying under the carpet. So to see that, to observe that, you have to remove the gross layers, the Vichikama kilesa and Parivuttana kilesa, that is means transgressional kind, and the obsessional kind. When these two are removed, you feel something, but you can't, item by item you don't know. But you feel there is a kind of a source. And you have to keep on observing because it is working in a perverted way. Therefore, with the face value you can't agree it. With the face value it appears very decent. It appears like a very good. But ultimately it is working in a malice way, malevolent way.
That means it can activate at any time without your knowledge.
Without signal.
Without any signal.
Without any signal, it is just like a landmine or like the volcano can burst.
Those are the forces, those are the defilements we have to cut out by doing vipassana power.
Only through the vipassana you can at least come to know your account balance. About these dormant tendencies, and the Buddha says just by knowing itself it will become weaker. But now it is well protected, you don't know, so it is ever growing. Just like a germ growing in the dark and damp place. But you open it and let the sunlight to happen, that its pathogenic part will be killed. Exactly, if you know this is my tendency, that is the point you understand who am I. In that you only see your superficial things, and in that you have a lot of these discriminations and your personal likings and dislikes. But when you go to the deeper and deeper, you understand only the human mind can go into such a depth And by seeing itself, he is getting rectified.
How do you see? How do you see it?
You have to remove the first layer of transcriptional defilements, and then you go to the obsessional defilement. Then only you can see.
So how do you remove those two layers first?
The transcriptional kind one that you remove by the moral precepts. Not to kill, not to steal kind of things. You are not transgressing. And then underneath you get the obsessional kind, that is we call Nissarana, or the hindrances. That is what we take it under control by the concentration meditation. Then only you see the depth, the width. That even then you can't see item by item. You can see everything in a mass, but they are working in a perverted way. So you have to observe as if you are an outsider. Because its face value won't represent their malice. So you have to observe long time. Then only you will see this anusaya kilesa or latent tendencies.
With the Samatha Bhavana, Swami Mahansa, you cut off the nivarnas or just you suppress? Just suppress.
So it is practically enough.
It can pop up any time.
Practically enough, you just remove it so you can see through. And it is a chance for you to see the deep layers. But again, that nivarnas also can come. But you know it is just like a cloud covered by the moon covered by the cloud. But even though the clouded day, you know,
You cannot see.
Moon you can't see. But if the clouds are passing, you know that cloud cannot disturb the moon. Moon is more permanent. But the cloud is coming between and just passing like the nivaranas, you can understand its weakness.
Which is the hardest one to suppress out of the 5 nivaranas? Which one we should practice daily, even little by little?
It depends on the people. Usually their work is as together, but some are more towards the desire, some are more towards the hatred, some are more towards the sleepiness, some are entertaining more doubts, and some entertain more perplexed mind. And so it characterizes according to the character deficits. You change, but even a single person also entertain different times, different facets. So usually you treat it as a group, not individual.
That's what you said in Avidya Sutta.
Avidya Sutta also
last time.
Yeah.
What is Khanika Samadhi?
Khanika Samadhi. Khanika Samadhi is the alternative for this conventional Samadhi. It is called Samatha Samadhi and Vipassana Samadhi. Vipassana Samadhi is a momentary one. Then and there you take the concentration and then you see as and when the phenomena arises. But in the compared to that, Samatha Samadhi, you take a fixed object and that Samadhi is continuous for longer the period of time and it suppresses temporarily the nivaranas. But in the Khanika Samadhi, phenomena, the object itself is changing, and as and when it arises, you get then and there called Samadhi. And therefore, being in that Samadhi, you can analyze the object. Because your mind is not absorbed and benumbed. Mind is very active. Then and there it is running. Therefore, only through the Khanika Samadhi, you can see the impermanent nature of the object, the suffering nature of the object, and the soullessness. Samatha Samadhi, conventional Samadhi won't allow that kind of analytical power, that kind of penetrating power. So, Khanika Samadhi is the most radical one and sporty. It is just like you are shooting the jumping animal, not to a fixed target. Fixed target and target shooting is just like Khanika Samatha Samadhi. If you know as a sportsman, when the animal jump and if you can shoot the jumping animal, it is like Khanika Samadhi.
So how do you achieve it?
It is with all the trial and error method. Only through the trial and error method. So, for example, if you are living household life, and you can't renunciate, you can't go to the forest, but even then there is a chance for you to develop mindfulness. That is true. When and where the posture is, you try to be aware of it. So there is a kind of a concentration arising. That is a lot of failures, but more and more practice, ultimately you learn the art, ways and means how to get it. Then the consistency comes. So that is very sporty. That is not the conventional way you get it. For example, when an operation happens, definitely you have to take it to the theatre and you have to disinfect the patient, the doctor, the equipment and the machine. But if it's a warfare in the battlefield, there are no theatres, you have to take it there, barefoot doctors, cut it and finish it off, otherwise your life is at risk. So there are no anesthesia, no disinfection. So there you have to do Kanika Samadhi, something like this in the warfare.
But you can achieve the highest status through that also, which that means.
So that is a very big argument. Conventional people, those who are believing only the conventional samadhi, you can't. So therefore, these lay people can't meditate, they can't go to the highest level because you have to go to the forest, you have to be a monk and all the kind of things. But after 1956, the other team also challenging now. They really, even the lay can do it, they can trust upon the Kanika Samadhi, and if they are smart enough, they can achieve what they need. So therefore now there are some examples from these lay people. So therefore now we are in the war, we are in the declared war. The conventional people say you have to be a monk, or to go to the forest and live in the forest to do meditation. Now means what is happening is majority are lay people, running a busy life, and still they are having a good peace of mind rather than these conventional people claims to be Buddhist. So that is how we are living in a transitional period.
Answer. We are practicing this Anapana, and that according to your the Dhamma talk, that is actually the Satipatthana, that is the one and only way. So how about the, which I don't know, please correct me, the Satta Visuddhi, that Sila Visuddhi, Chitta Visuddhi, should we learn, should we meditate on that too, all those 7 Visuddhis and 7 purifications?
So that both are the parallels that you can explain in terms of Kaya-nupassana, Vedana-nupassana, Chitta-nupassana, Dhamma-nupassana, that is the Satipatthana explained.
Yeah.
And same thing, yet another way is Sila Visuddhi, Chitta Visuddhi, and whatever explaining the same thing.
Yeah.
Different method, different presentations. So therefore, as far as you are observing one of the intricate part of you, that means your breath, not something like outside object, is something you can experience.
Yeah.
And when you are keep on continuing, this Kaya-nupassana, Vedana-nupassana, that advancement, as well as Visuddhi, that purification advancement, there are a number of methods. The Satta Visuddhi method, Satipatthana method, and yet another way is that Ratha Vinita, Pratipada and Ariyavansa Pratipada. Then the same thing presented in different ways. So, if you feel, as and when you are practicing Anapanasati, if the mindfulness is increasing, you must not complicate it with all the possible methods. That means you are going for varietal entertainment, and means you are going to become superficial, you can't penetrate it. Take one and test and do up to the utmost.
Just follow
the, that is to say, don't try method, once try one method.
Yes.
So there's a big difference between trying and striving.
Yeah.
It is like faith and Saddha and Kusala Chanda. Saddha means you have the faith superficial, you test this and that and this and that, everything, but nothing you take and you penetrate it. But Kusala Chanda is different. You select one thing and go to that.
Meditation.
So these are the pragmatic methods. The theoretical people more happy with the saddha. Testing this method, that method, and saying, I have so much of a list. I have done all, but nothing penetrated. And yet another person, maybe he know only one thing, but he has to go to the ultimate. So, pragmatic is the second part.
So what happens when you're meditating and you're kind of really trying to, when you're really trying to kind of keep the mind in one place, you're just restless and you can't, like, just to the point when you just become incredibly restless and you can't, it feels like you just can't continue, like you just can't concentrate and you just feel like it's just, you just get really frustrated, like what, I mean, is there a mental exercise we can do, like apart from like...
So if you go to Satipatthana, the last part, Dhammanupassana, it says that Santang va ajjatang uddacha kukkuccang sattumi ajjatang uddacha kukkuccang pajana. That Dhammanupassana, that's the highest level, you know completely bewildered mind or scattered mind. That means you can't direct something, you can't do anything, you are completely desperate and discouraged and energy is completely gone. But you know my mind is now there. My mind is now with this scattered. So the Buddha says, as the mind becomes scattered, if you know that my mind is scattered, that's the ultimate truth. You are in the scattered and you know the truth. What else? You have to go. And when you are really facing this scattered mind, without entertaining the discouragement or negative kind of thing, you can say it is under your nose, you are in reality. And after a while it is also impermanent, it will go. And then you know, okay, now scatteredness gone, now you know it will go. And you know it is again, it can come, it is not your fault, it's nature. And when it again happens, you know it is there, now I am scattered, that is it. And ultimately, by practicing like that, without not getting caught up into this wave, you will understand now, stop, it will never arise again. So likewise, you have to go through it, see through it, rather than antagonizing it, rather than try to wipe it off. That is the kilesa. Kilesa is the antagonizing, the reaction. The idea to wipe it off, this is you can well define as kilesa. More and more you advance, these things happen not in the rocks or in the trees, it is happening in the human mind. So I am being human, it is the nature. It is not a bad thing, it is not something to be discouraged, it is not a punishment for you. Everyone is in the same boat. But beforehand you must know understanding what is the mindfulness is, what the concentration is, and with that endowment, with that brave idea only you can face that scattered mind. Otherwise you feel inferior. You feel that I am not in par with other people, they are superior, they will never entertain the scattered mind, I am the only desperate one. Having the scattered mind, oh damn myself and kind of thing. So you are damn yourself. The Buddha says, this is a natural thing. So therefore,
so those are defilements.
So considering and fighting with it and negative, but the reaction is the defilement. By itself the scattered mind is part and parcel of the human life. It is nothing special.
Let go.
So
even not letting go.
Not letting go.
No, let it come again. Have a cup of green tea.
Have a party.
Have a cup of green tea. It's scattered mind. Why not?
So I should continue sitting, like I should just get up and start doing a standing meditation.
So you have to first of all get out yourself. I. Then no problem. I should know I. So if the scatteredness comes, accept it. The concentration comes, equally accept it. If the how to call that, penetrating mind happens, equally good. Those penetrating mind are good, have no anything good with compared to the scattered mind. Both are equally good if you are equally accepting, because they are nature. It's the reality, but you must not anticipate the scattered mind or the penetrating mind as and when it arises. If you are rightly, when the person knows it, you are the winner. So that it will not taken you for a ride. You can be face to face with the scattered mind.
So we should just be kind of like, know that it's a scattered mind and just kind of concentrate still.
Indifferent. Be indifferent. Be indifferent to the scattered mind and the concentrated mind and the good mind, the bad mind, all are within the bracket mind.
So when you're feeling the frustration, what?
No, that is, you understand frustration. It is not the scattered mind, it's a separate.
So the frustration with the scattered
You understand the frustration, this is due to the scattered mind. It is naturally, my reaction is to be frustrated, but it is the sediments of the scattered mind, it is separate thing. It's another emotion. So unless otherwise you accept the scattered mind, you will not see their precipitations. So once you come to know the scattered mind, you can see you feel dull, you feel disheartened. And these are the shades, different nuances of the scattered mind, but the scattered mind is a different phenomenon. It is not necessarily associated with the disheartened. It is due to your weakness and untrained mind. When the mind becomes trained and you are ready to accept it, when this is one thing and this is separate thing, who is harnessing it? It is your ignorance. When there is no ignorance, these two things, it's but a nice Dhamma. But a nice way of understanding the human mind. But a nice way of understanding phenomena as such. Then you feel hilarious. Because throughout the samsara you have been undergoing this without understanding the mechanism. Now you understand. So its destructive power reduces and your controlling power increases, and you are being called, you are a well-trained meditator.
So what do? We just recite?
Do nothing. That is the best thing. You don't know how to dance, how to do this and that, but you are asked not to do and wait for 10 hours in one position, but you can't.
So we should get up. We should concentrate on it.
No any appreciation, no any depreciation. Just passing out clouds. You see, it's a dark cloud. This white cloud, but it never smear. It never make inferiority to the sky. Sky is a different issue. Clouds are different issues. The clouds cannot smear. Cannot make the sky inferior or superior. So defilements are just clouds. But the sky is different phenomena. So this is the training, slowly. You make it yourself to not to take and ride or vicissitudes of the life. The gain happens or lost, fame and ill fame, pain and the pleasure. You have the capacity, unless otherwise you emotionally moved. That is why training slowly, you are being trained to be indifferent. This is the only specific thing in the Vipassana meditation. All the other religious activities have good and bad labels. Just and unjust labels. And to do this and that, not to do that, all the time. But in the Vipassana, all thrown away, you look fresh. And that is what you can see Buddha through the Dhamma. The moment you become indifferent, you see what the meaning of the teaching of the Buddha. He is not in the conventional world. He is talking from the other side. And he says you also can be just a Buddha, but you practice in a novelty way, not in the conventional and the linear way. But of course you start with the linear way and slowly when the maturity comes, you develop the indifference. Difficult to understand?
You basically watch like an outside, right?
It's one way of presenting. Or you can say get a distance. When they're operating the patient, the doctor says, the surgeons get a clinically distance from the patient. Otherwise you can't do the operation. If you are going to recognize the patient's feelings, you will not be a good professional doctor. So exactly your painful feeling, pleasurable feeling, you try to get a distance. And your scattered mind and the concentrated mind, you have no value judgment, they are mental states. If you are going to say it is me, it is mine, it is myself, then the whole lot come into your dustbin. It will be filled very quickly. So you see, these are passing shows.
She personally think that when the mind starts being scattered or the concentration is lost, isn't it better to change the posture and start again fresh with Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammasambuddhassa? It is better, or that may not work.
So what is the purpose of changing this thing and telling Namo Tassa? What you are behind?
Because to bring back the scattered mind.
So when you are going to master the scattered mind?
But to gain the concentration.
No, concentration is the kind of a thing. Not all the time you can expect, but in the Dhammanupassana level, Buddha says you have to master all the 5 hindrances. That means one day you have to face the concentrated mind and the concentrated mind, scattered mind and the scattered mind both have the same value. That is the definition of vipassana. And if you are going to say, I can see concentrated, I can see scattered mind, only through the concentrated mind, it will never happen. Because they are two sides of the same coin. So one day you have to appreciate the scattered mind. And that is the novelty. That is what we do. And you are not expecting the scattered mind. You are not anticipating the scattered mind. You are making use as and when it arises. And it is free of charge. Scattered mind you get any time, anyway. You must get the opportunity. Okay, time up. You understand or you have complained that no stories? You understand what I am telling, or you are complaining telling that still that no stories? No stories.
Once you have to listen to your voice.
Understand? How much? 10%? Or do you understand all the stories?
You are wrong. You are not saying. You are not scientist. You are right. You are wrong.
You'd like to hear a story?
No.
What do you like then?
I think you understand.
You understood everything?
Best. I am the happiest.
Happiest and the big helper.
Okay, we'll be going for a walking meditation and then meeting again at 3:30.